everybody, welcome back. This is the second iteration for this level. Not a lot has changed too much. What I ended up adding to this top section was a little more of the grappling hook edges of the grappling hook walls, just to make a better flow to the level. I can drop us in there right now, actually, so you can see. I was realizing that even though you can kind of see the grappling hook up here, if you get up here and you don't realize until you're here, you don't really have a chance to grab it to get onto the higher path available. So I added this one, which is easily accessible, which you can access it just by standing here. So if you quickly realize there's one directly above and you're like, oh man, I gotta grab that, and you're too late, you can do that. And if you're early, if you're expecting it, you can definitely get around. I'm sure you just saw me try to swing on it, but I ran into this. And I also added, actually I don't remember if that grappling hook place was there before, but you can easily, if you're just like this, you can use that to flow, and if you're too low, the boxes will get you. But yeah, and then a couple flight paths. There's different levels of flight path with the stuff I've added. Yeah, so if you're good enough to get, or if you can expect it enough to jump up and get this, then you can get on that boost, and you can do that. You can get the maximum reward for being on top, and if you don't, you still have a little fluidity with it and flying. So that's pretty much what I had for that level. What I ended up doing was I ended up working on another. Oh, I just accidentally added an item. I ended up working on another level because we're required to make two. So this is the first iteration. This is the first iteration of my second level. And if you look at it, I mean, it's obviously not done. There's barely any items or anything. But I kind of wanted to focus on, at least in this starting point, the mechanic of when you fall on an angled piece, you kind of get zoomed. So I made it so if you're the first one to fall out of that path, you hit that, and then you block off the other players. So they can still like have the speed of doing this and this, and then they have the speed to catch up. But you just kind of have that quick initial burst of speed to get ahead. And then I was kind of playing around with the different paths here. I want, with the items that I'm eventually going to add, I want to like make each path viable for anybody. It's just a matter of preference, really. So there'll be even rewards on any path. So that was that. With this section, I have to test it a little more because I want each. Again, I also want each path to be viable. But in the heat of things, I feel like it'd be easier just to take the bottom route than the top route. Then again, I haven't raced on these, so I don't know which one's necessarily faster. But each of these paths are pretty doable. And then you get boosted up here. And I haven't finished this section yet, but it's gonna be another one that utilizes grappling hook technology to get through this, and then you get dropped back down here. So this one's a pretty small level. I wanted it to be pretty small, just so it's like really fast paced, just fast paced action and quick rounds. Yeah, I added these items. I started adding the items. I added these items up here because when you enter the playtest mode, you can't really see initially that there's this hole right here that you'd fall through if you didn't go in. So I wanted to give players who fall for that sort of trap a way to bounce back, in addition to them getting this boost here. If you don't fall for the trap, you get an item anyway if you're the first one, so good on you. Yeah, so over here is It's just the two different pathways I made. I believe with two players taking the different paths, they'll both still be on the screen because the screen kind of goes to the center of the characters that are on screen. I believe that both players would be able to be on this, take both paths and be on the same screen, in that little bottom right section. But what I was thinking going into this is that the player ahead would dictate the momentum or the path the other players would take once somebody dies and the screen starts to shrink, because if you decide to go up here, it may trip somebody up, and the camera would probably favor the one that is higher, the player that is higher and sort of ahead, because the way the checkpoint system works, once I set that up, is the farther along they are in the path of the checkpoint, that's technically the person in the lead. So if you decide to go up here rather than the bottom route, here versus being here is more ahead. And I also added this little grappling hook spot to make that faster, just in case you need to catch up. And that's pretty much it for this level. What I gotta do is I gotta flesh out the top section, and I gotta start adding items and stuff to kind of make paths beneficial in some ways and other paths beneficial in different ways. But that's about it. It's a pretty short video, but that's what's up. See ya.